Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this month's Financial Security for All Community of Practice webinar. We are pleased to have with us today our partners from FDIC here to talk about the new recently enhanced, updated version of Money Smart for Young People. I'm here with the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture Cooperative Extension Service. I'm Dr. Laura Hendricks. I'm currently the one of the co-chairs for the Financial Security for All Community of Practice, and also have the honor of producing these monthly webinars for our community, really specifically targeted to extension educators who work with the personal finance subject matter. And also welcome our presenters today, Bobby Gray and Sandra Brava, who are both in community affairs with FDIC. We know that right now, in these times of a little bit of economic uncertainty, a little bit of topsy-turvy in our country, that financial security and financial education becomes more important than ever. So as we're reaching out to do those programs with young people, it's great to have these wonderful resources that our partners are sharing with us today. So without further ado, I'll be turning it over to Bobby and Sandra to tell you about the new, improved, enhanced version of Money Smart for Young People.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bobby Gray, and we are pleased to join you this afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are in the country. I'm calling in from Maryland, and so it's afternoon here. But we want to thank Laura and the USDA team and your community of practice for letting us share the enhanced Money Smart for Young People. Many of you could possibly recall that when we first released Money Smart for Young People in 2014, the Cooperative Extension and USDA NIFA network allowed us to launch on one of your network calls. So we thank you again for our collaboration. Partnering is key. So again, I'm Bobby Gray. I will let Sandra introduce herself when we get to her part of the presentation. Briefly, just a quick agenda. I'm going to talk about the enhanced resources, but I also wanted to share just some information about a new campaign that we have going on. So who are we? You all are in this industry, so you are very familiar with the FDIC and our primary mission of ensuring the consumer confidence in our financial system. Since the FDIC was created, no one has lost a penny of their deposits with the FDIC insurance. So as I mentioned, before I get started, we have a multi-year strategic economic inclusion plan. The FDIC is committed to financial empowerment and economic inclusion for all. And so we work in 5 priority areas. If you could imagine it visually, it looks like a ladder. The financial education is the foundation, and then it builds in those other 4 areas, offering opportunity for access to insured deposits, consumer credit, affordable mortgages, and small business. But before we get started, I am excited to tell you about a Get Banked webpage that was developed in collaboration with during the pandemic last year, and in collaboration with the CFPB and Internal Revenue, we were able to develop this website and put and link information from their EIP page about getting banked and the safety of banking. So recently we launched an actual Get Banked campaign. The focus of the pilot is in Atlanta and Houston. However, the resources on the website is available for any of you working with clients. There are videos, interactive shopping tools about reasons for keeping your money in an insured financial institution. The information for the campaign is available in English and Spanish, but I hope you'll check it out. It is a great resource that you could add to your toolbox when working with your clients. So Money Smart has products available for individuals of all ages, as you can see, beginning from pre-K through what we call older adults, as well as small business. Again, we collaborate with other organizations, our other federal partners. For example, the development of the Money Smart for Small Business, we developed in collaboration with the Small Business Administration, and the Money Smart for Older Adults, we developed in collaboration with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB. And again, the Money Smart for Young People, we collaborated together to offer products targeting, where do young people learn about money? In school. So we developed the Money Smart for Young People curricula for trusted resource for educators. And if you're not teaching in a formal classroom, but you're reaching young people, the curriculum can still be used. We have a parent and caregiver guide. We know that people also observe what they see at home. And so it can be used as a standalone or complement what might have been taught in school. So it gets the whole family involved. And then there's a third component, which is experiential learning, which Sandra will touch on a little later in the presentation. So we have all these tools, but today we're going to talk again about the Money Smart for Young People. And we also have self-paced products as well as some implementation tools that will help you get started. So what is our role as the FDIC? So what we do is we agree, we could never reach consumers without collaboration and partnering, because we don't have enough staff and to reach consumers, and you are the trusted resource. So what we agreed to do is to provide the curricula that you need. It is free, it's not copyrighted. It is piloted and tested. We hear from those of you in the field. How can we make it better? How can we enhance it? Such as the curriculum that I'm going to talk about today. We offer free train the trainers quarterly, and when staffing allows, we are able to do some customized train the trainer. We offer technical assistance for organizations that are trying to get started. And sometimes we can broker a relationship. We have our Money Smart Alliance members, is what we call the organizations that we work with. And so sometimes it's connecting to organizations, or maybe you're just trying to connect with the financial institution in your area. So we're able to facilitate some of those conversations, either through our office or maybe through our regional office, community affairs, who is local on the ground. And again, we also share promising ways to use Money Smart through our Money Smart News. We also connect success stories. So we like to hear from you. So I think we can all agree that youth financial education, starting early, I think Laura mentioned it, is very helpful. And research has shown that financial capable young people are more likely to become financially secure adults. They are, research has shown a higher statistic of those being able to go on to higher education, but just being able to manage their finances, and if they need help, where do they go to get it? You know, where if they're if they've been taken advantage of from a scam or identity theft, knowing how to ask those questions, knowing where to go for help. And again, at pre-K level, just beginning to get young people to think about managing and sharing and giving. So these were the goals of the partnering. Again, I mentioned it earlier, giving a trusted resource to educators, learning through our families, and then the opportunity for hands-on or experiential learning. So the Enhanced Money Smart for Young People, it has four levels: grades pre-K through 2, 9 through 12, 3 through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12. Here are some of the series highlights of the series. So everything you need to teach it is there. Different from some of the other instructor-led curricula, this one is in a lesson plan format. It is still in 2 columns, as I will share, but we took consideration back from the educators, diverse focus group. It had teachers. There were also parents and caregivers to share what were they looking for in this resource. So it was ease of use, access, and the ability to integrate it into something that was already being used. So you'll find standards alignment charts, real life exercises and examples, and then giving you ideas on how to integrate it in not just a business class, but English, math, social studies as well. So again, everything you need to conduct the training is there. There's resource guide for the educator. There are presentation slides in PowerPoint and PDF format. There are handouts for the students. And again, the parent and caregiver guide can be used as a standalone, or it can also be complementary to what they may have learned in class, could be an after-school program, but the family can learn together. The parent and caregiver guide is organized around these 5 building block themes that were developed by the Financial Literacy and Education Commission and stakeholders. They held many sessions, like what should we be teaching people about financial education so that they have the basics. And these were the 5 areas: earning, saving and investing, protection, borrow, and spend. So the parent and caregiver guide, as well as the curriculum, is organized around these themes. You will be able to find information in those 5 themes. Here's an example of what the parent and caregiver guide looks like. For example, there are topic connections, the overview, and from the classroom. And this is, it's very small, so you can't see it, but it's from the second theme of spin. And then there is the topic connection. It'll give you, again, the overview of what's going on, what was taught in the classroom, and then other activities that can be done. Next, I'm going to show you some of the topics. I'll just give you a chance to take a look. The pre-K through 2 has 6 lessons with hands-on cross-curricular activities. So some of what we heard from the educators is they wanted a few more activities. So This is targeting roughly ages 4 through 8 and discussing and exploring key financial concepts. And here are grades 3 through 5. Goal setting, saving your money, charitable giving, and even beginning to think about career choices. We also have supplemental videos that will give you examples along with the educator guide of how you can, if your class is a little more advanced, how you may use some of the activities for a more advanced class, or if you may need to bring it down just a little bit. And here we have lessons 6 through 8. Again, one of the ones that I like to use, and I've used it in one of my adult classes. I just took the activity from being a savvy shopper, because this one compares purchasing a cell phone, like a cell phone. The scenario gives 3 options for phones, and just having people break up into 3 teams and talk about which is the best choice for the attendee. So it can be fun, even though you may be teaching different grade levels. That's not copyrighted, doesn't say you have to teach it all in order, but you can borrow an activity, and because you can adapt it to the needs of your audience. It may be a topic that you want to share in a different class. So here again, you're beginning to talk about credit, identity theft, financial risk, again, making financial choices. And 9 through 12, this 4th level actually has 2 slides. There are 22 topics. Students learn strategies to protect their financial information, as well as the consequences of identity theft and some real world scenarios. And then there's role play with convertible or clunker. And on the next slide, the last 2, 21 and 22, actually talk about youth entrepreneurship. So talking to young people about starting a business. And the second one is, how do I maintain that business? And then if I decide maybe I'll sunset it or move it along, what are some of those things to think about? And one thing that I knew before pre-pandemic, and what I really learned during the pandemic, is young people are so innovative, and just some of the things that I saw them, that we had the opportunity to see them doing on the news to help others, whether it be inside or outside their families. And they were from the youngest to those young adults and teenagers. So the entrepreneurship modules, I think, are very important as well. And then looking at number 15, thinking about retirement planning. Just I imagine if I really thought about retirement when I first got my first job in the government, permanent job, if I really understood it and really contributed, where I would be now. So yeah, getting them to think about what it means to begin putting away for retirement really early. So I'm going to turn it over now to Sandra. She'll introduce herself, and she will begin to tell you what is new in the curriculum. Sandra?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sandra Raba, and I am a community affairs specialist. I am currently in an acting role, and so I'm going to be able to explain to you the enhanced version of the Money Smart and what changes that we've made. So what's new? Starting in 2018, the FDIC worked with a contractor to provide feedback on a new proposed format for the Money Smart for Young People, and we call that MSYP. In addition, the contractor solicited feedback from educators who provided detailed comments on the clarity and usability of the new proposed format from the perspective of end users. So our content did remain the same. We do have a new and improved look and format, which does make it more user-friendly and easier to read. We did change the black text to a white background, which makes it easier as well for printing in black and white. So those are just some of the touches that we've made in the new enhanced version. So what are educators saying? This is some feedback from a 5th grade teacher. My students and I both enjoyed the Money Smart for Young People curricula. My students found it was very exciting and encouraging, while I found it very simple to implement into my math classroom. We also had some more feedback from another elementary school teacher, and she was saying the lessons stand alone, yet create a cohesive and comprehensive curriculum. On the next slide, we had some feedback from a bank, Fidelity Bank to be exact, and they were just saying that the materials provide you with everything you need, from participant materials to slides to teacher guides. They take the stress out of your preparation part of teaching a class and allow you to focus on ensuring the students are learning about how to manage their finances. So those are all some great feedbacks that we have received. So let's talk about the building blocks. So the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection conducted research to determine what youth should learn at each stage in development to ensure that they are financially literate in adulthood. So that is what building blocks are. These building blocks are currently being incorporated in MSYP. As of now, only the 9 through 12 and the 6 through 8 levels have added building block activities. We are working to incorporate them into the other levels by the end of this year. So hopefully by the end of 2021, we will have the building blocks incorporated. Sample educator guide. So here's a quick look at how the educator guide was formatted before versus how it's formatted now. So if you look on the left-hand side, it's colorful. The right-hand side, it's black and white. Teachers mentioned that they didn't always have access to colored printers, so we made the educator guides black and white. So as you see, the columns are still the same. There's a left and right column. However, we just made it easier also for printing purposes. The lesson at a glance section provides the teachers with a summary of lessons, objectives, and suggested time required for each lesson. So it's a great snapshot for what is in the curriculum and allows educators the information needed to design lessons or embed financial literacy topics into existing curriculum. So here is a sample educator guide at a glance, so you can see how it looks. Extended exploration section of the educator's guide. There are additional examples of activity ideas across the curriculum, and this is where the building blocks that I had mentioned earlier are located. So if you can see on the screen, this is a sample educator guide, and this is the extended exploration section. So let's look at the next sample. This is the sample that came out of the educator's guide. The section was called Working Hard for the Money and Career Options. So this just shows an example of how it will look like, and it just has a little diagram on there as well. Sample handout. So this is the grades 3 through 5, and as you see, there's a definition in the beginning, some directions on what to do. There's a situation you can read, and then you can answer questions based on the situation. So this is in reference to Ella, and then you can answer 3 questions about Ella's situation. So this is how the layout is and this is the sample handout for grades 3 through 5. Each level of the curriculum is linked to several key educational standards. The National Jumpstart Coalition Financial Literacy Standards, Common Core Standards for English Language Arts and Mathematics, National Standards in Economics by CEE, and Partnership for 21st Century Skills. So there's a table in the back of each level that shows the direct connections to specific standards. So if you see here on the right-hand side, this is a sample alignment chart. So the pilot teacher resource group. I just want to let you know later this year, we'll be launching our pilot teacher resource group, which will consist of Money Smart Alliance members who have self-identified themselves as K through 12 educators or people who have regularly teach financial education in the classroom. And there'll be more to come on that later in the year. We collaborated with our graphics team to create a digital toolkit that consists of the same lessons from MSYP. They are formatted for digital use and fillable spaces that can use on a computer or your phone or your tablet. So we can have fun Zoom backgrounds you can use when teaching the kids. And here, right here on the screen, you can see an example of one of the Zoom backgrounds. Youth banking. So school saving programs are a promising strategy to promote lifetime and economic inclusion. We have linking youth savings with financial education, lessons from the FDIC pilot, creating youth savings programs in your community, a roadmap, and youth banking network. So the curriculum is available through the Teacher Online Resource Center. The FDIC and CFPB have collaborated to create this Teacher Online Resource Center so teachers can have access to resources from across FDIC and CFPB that can support financial literacy instruction. So it is available in English and in Spanish. And I did want to let you know that the site features 3 videos that offer ideas on how to teach about money in the classroom. So if you look on the slide, the 3 videos are called Spending Choices, Savings, and Banking. Pointers are provided in the videos on how to adapt them to different grade levels. So they are filmed in a middle school setting. Let's look at the self-paced learning games. So these are consistent of 2 tracks. One focuses on adults and the other one on youth. It is compatible with desktops and mobile devices. It can be completed in one session, or if you'd like to take a break and pick it up later on, you do have the option for that as well. And of course, it is free, and you do get a certificate of completion at the end. So let's talk about the Money Smart Podcast Network. The different ones are basics of banking, checking accounts, saving, spending plan, and borrowing money. These are both in English and in Spanish. You can listen, you can click the listen now in MP3, you can download the audio, or you can just read the transcript through PDF. Here are some of the new resources. One of them is called My Money Smart. Making the most of your money starts with 5 building blocks. They are earn, spend, save and invest, borrow, and protect. Within these building blocks, there are 14 different financial topics to explore. So on the next slide, you will see how the layout of how it looks. So here's how My Money Smart will look. And first you select a building block, and then you choose your topic. So you select either earn, spend, save and invest, borrow, protect, and then you can select one of the subcategories. Every topic has 4 steps of resources. So there's key takeaways, tools, FAQs, and helpful links. If you see on the top, the key takeaways is underlined on this slide because that's the default resource. It's the one that is open when you visit each topic page. To get to the other resources, you just click on the titles, whether it's tools, FAQs, or helpful links. So this is what the home page will look like. Visit My Money Smart today. So this is just a sample of the home screen. Money Smart Alliance program. So let's talk about what the Money Smart Alliance entails. It does provide training and it promotes the Money Smart. We do support local organizations that use Money Smart. And to apply for this, you can just go to www.fdic.gov/MoneySmart. So you will get updates and evaluate Money Smart efforts. So if you'd like to join, you can go ahead and apply online. Money Smart News. So the Money Smart News you can view online or you can subscribe. You have updates on the Money Smart program, and we also post success stories. All of your submissions are also welcome, so we can add to our Money Smart News. FDIC Consumer News is also helpful for young people, parents, and caregivers. It provides practical guidance on how to become a smarter, safer user of financial services. Issues and selected articles offer helpful hints, quick tips, and common sense strategies to protect and stretch your hard-earned dollars. You can find a link to it from a Teacher Online Resource Center and the Parent Caregiver website. Okay, so let's recap. The FDIC relies upon countless instructors at financial institutions, community-based organizations, local government entities, and that teach the curriculum. At the FDIC, as the FDIC is unable to teach Money Smart classes to consumers. We are able, however, to provide a copy of the curriculum to potential instructors, provide technical assistance to those interested in using the Money Smart, and as staffing allows, we may be able to teach a Train the Trainer workshop for interested parties. We do share best practices or research and with respect to financial education programs, and we do through Money Smart News, which we had just previously discussed. We do like to hear from you and how you will use your Money Smart in your community as well. So let's turn it back over to Laura for questions and discussion. Thank you.